Right. Jonathan Macmillan, Luciano, when you buy a property in Brazil, does the buyer also own the land that the property is built on? Yes, Jonathan, that's the vast majority of the case. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I found out that in some countries, right, even in the US, sometimes you're going to buy a property, but you're not buying the land along with it, was strikingly surprising to me. I said, oh, come on, like you're going to buy a property and you still need to pay rent for the land. That's crazy, right? I would never buy a property like this. That was my first thought. But I learned that it's common in the United States, like when you're going to buy commercial properties, right? Those areas, in pretty much every American city, you're going to find some complexes or a small business center with a CVS or a Walgreens and a bunch of other businesses. And many times they are going to sell the building, but there is still going to be an owner for the land that is going to collect rent. So you buy the building, you spend a boatload of money, and you still pay rent on top of it, right? So that's such an interesting question to us Brazilians, Jonathan, because this concept is not even common like in Brazil. This said, we have another thing which is not typically common in the US, which is like this co-ownership with many times the federal government, sometimes with it could be a religious entity that you're gonna need to pay a fee. And for this co-payment, it could be similar to not owning the land, because the concept here for the religious entities is like this, like the religious entity gets a large tract of land through a gift, okay? And then the religious entity doesn't have money like to build like an apartment complex. So what they are gonna do, they're gonna say, what, like you're gonna build like this apartment building, and I'm gonna collect like an annual fee. And this annual fee is gonna be my compensation, right? So that is somewhat similar, right? But not exactly the same. And that's, I would say, a major exception. Probably for 95% of the time, Jonathan, you buy, the land comes along with it, and you just pay property taxes, and that's it, okay? Now, 5% of the time, you're gonna have this co-ownership with either the federal government, or you're gonna have this arrangement with a religious institution. This arrangement with a third party, it was also common in the past. I think it was up to the 90s with private owners, but it was extinguished a few decades ago.